What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you stopping by for the first time, if you see something that you like here today, please don't forget to subscribe at some point during this video. Those of you stopping by that have been here before, welcome back to TLTG Reviews, my friends. Glad you came to see me. So, Big Beard Business actually started a blanket tag on a video topic, 10 fragrances from 10 different fragrance families. Thought that was a pretty good idea. I actually saw Matt did a follow-up and took it upon himself to do the video. So I thought about it. I watched both of them and I said, you know what, that's a good video idea. I like that. So I busted out the pen and the pad, broke down my favorites. Let's go over those 10 now. Stay tuned. So starting off is going to be my favorite oud fragrance. So this is going to be very self-explanatory. This is going to be one that's centered around the note of agarwood. Oud. There's other forms of oud, but agarwood's the most prominently used one. And my favorite of all my oud fragrances is definitely Mancera, the oud. The oud, the oud. I always say the oud. Very rose and oud dominant. Very strong, very medicinal, but very different for my collection anyways, and very powerful off of my skin. It's one that I find that the longer I wear it, the more I like it. Very, very pungent, very, very kind of pencil shaving, church pew, medicinal. It's all those different things about oud where you have to really enjoy oud, a slightly skankier oud, to enjoy this one. And this is that fragrance for me. I absolutely love wearing this one in the very cold weather. Definitely not hot weather worthy, but as far as oud fragrances go, Mancera the Oud, definitely my pick of the litter. Next up is going to be the Oriental category. So the one I picked out is actually classified as an Oriental spicy. Now what an Oriental classification is going to entail is a fragrance that's centered around woods and resins. And obviously an Oriental spicy adds the spicy element to that. And my pick is definitely Dior Fahrenheit Parfum. This is a beautiful fragrance. Definitely my favorite Oriental spicy, to say the very least. This stuff is incredible. Not the easiest thing to get, and my favorite version of Fahrenheit far and wide. This is an Oriental fragrance done right. The woods, the licorice, the violet leaf, the rum, it's all done very, very well. So my pick for Oriental is definitely Fahrenheit Parfum. Can't go wrong with it. Next up is going to be my choice for a woody fragrance. So a woody fragrance is going to be woods in the heart, woods in the base, obviously centered around woods. And my choice is actually classified as a woody aromatic due to its use of lavender, and its very good use of lavender. Zaharoff, Signature Pour Homme. This can give off a fougere quality. I do understand that. It's going to remind you of vintage barbershop style fougères for sure. I understand that, but it is classified as a woody aromatic. It does use sandalwood and oud in the heart and in the base, hence the classification. And I can't think of a better woody fragrance to put in this position because this is such a great fragrance. It's going to be a timeless DNA when it's all said and done because it's so versatile. It smells of elegance and class, but can be worn with a t-shirt like I'm wearing today. You can pull it off in so many circumstances, situations, and seasons. My woody fragrance of choice is Zaharoff, Signature Pour Homme. Next is going to be my choice for leather, for a leather fragrance. So that's actually the classification straight up of this fragrance. And when you see it, you're going to think, oh, but wait, how's that not a woody floral musk like the rest of the line? Because it's not. It's Dior Homme Parfum. This is a leather-dominated fragrance. The iris is actually toned down a little bit. The ambrette that's used in here, the musk mallow, is toned down as well. This is very, very leather-dominant. The leather is actually slightly animalic and a little more on the rough, rugged, and raw side. And that's what really separates this one in the line of Dior Homme, and what, in my opinion, makes it the best in the line. Do enjoy the whole line, but when it comes to leather fragrances, there's a lot of fragrances I could have put in this position. But when it comes down to it, this is one of my absolute favorite fragrances. And if we're talking about a leather-dominated fragrance, I couldn't really go past Dior Homme Parfum. It's too good. Next is going to be my pick for fougere. So with a fougere, it's actually centered around coumarin. And as a lot of you know, coumarin is derived from tonka bean. A lot of aromatic fougeres are going to have a coumarin note or a strong tonka bean note with some lavender, obviously. And speaking of aromatic fougeres, that is the classification of my pick, which is Scandal Parfum Cologne from Raja Parfums. This is got to be my favorite fougere, far and wide. And I have all the Eau Sauvage parfums except for the 2012 parfum, all the Eau Sauvage fragrances. I got all kinds of fougeres, really. I love a good fougere, but none of them scream of the quality, significance, and elegance that Scandal Parfum Cologne does. This is extremely wearable, extremely high quality. Performance is fantastic. It's right where it needs to be without being too loud, but it's far from subdued. When it comes to fougeres, I'm sure there's some that others will deem better than this one, but for me, doesn't get much better for a fougere than Scandal Parfum Cologne from Raja Parfums. Stuff's great. Next up is going to be my choice for a floral fragrance. Now, my pick's actually classified as a chypre floral, and floral fragrances are going to be dominated by powdery, even aquatic type flowery notes in the heart of the fragrance, which this one has all of that in the form of hyacinth and iris with a little bit of jasmine. And it's from Zaharoff. It's a Cento. Yes, as far as woody floral musks, there's a lot that could have fell into here. More Dior Hommes could have fell into here. But I wanted something a little bit more flower dominant to put in the position of a floral classification. And this is much more flower dominant. And the three that are used heavily in here are used heavily in here. This is very unisex, but at the same time, oh man, it is very, very, very beautiful. This very well could have took the spot for musk as well, because the musk in here is very dominant, but it's very clean. And definitely my favorite straight up floral fragrance, dominated by several different flowers, is going to be Zaharoff Cento. Not the cheapest option, but definitely one of the best. Next up is going to be my choice for a green fragrance. So for a green fragrance, when you see this one, it's kind of shocking because the bottle's blue. It's John Varvatos Artisan Blue. Fragrantica will tell you it's an aromatic citrusy. It's kind of strange, but it's definitely an aromatic fragrance that has a little bit of citrus, but it's more green, herbal, and fresh spicy because it's got a lot of green nuances with the chayote. It's got a lot of tarragon. It's got a lot of grassy notes. It's got some bamboo, a lot of basil. It's a lot of green notes in this one. It's very green when you smell it. Oh man, you definitely do not think blue when you spray this fragrance and smell it. The bottle's gorgeous, but it's the way wrong color. This should have been artisan green because this is a very green fragrance. It's my favorite for spring. As a matter of fact, from a cheapie, designer, or niche standpoint, this is my favorite green fragrance. But it can fool you when you see this coloration. But this is definitely a aromatic green through and through. That's John Varvatos Artisan Blue. Next is going to be my pick for a gourmand fragrance. Now, a gourmand fragrance is going to have a lot of sweet, delectable food notes. Vanillas, caramel, chocolate, different nuts like hazelnut and chestnut, and different things like that, you know. And it was really hard to narrow it down. There's a lot of really good gourmand fragrances in my collection. There's a lot that some will argue should have been right here, but it's my opinion and my picks, my favorites, if you will. And I absolutely thought of one house immediately when I thought of gourmands, because it's not all of them, but a lot of them have a lot of gourmand notes in them. And I actually broke it down to Happy Land Studios Rhyolite. This is probably going to be my favorite gourmand. I've been falling in love with this one more and more lately. I love spraying this one on my arm and just sniffing. I spray it right here on my wrist and just sniff throughout the day while I'm sitting in my chair. Man, this stuff is great. The honey, the caramel, the blueberry, it just blends so well. EJ did such a great job with this. You know, there's the banner right there. This is probably, in my opinion, the best Gourmand from his house. And he's got, I want to say, 7 or 8 of his fragrances are Gourmand heavy of the 17. And this one is, in my opinion, the best one. Some people will argue Happy Land Signature. Some people may say Homme for the holidays, which was running a race with this because that's my favorite coffee fragrance. But Gourmand's got to go with Happy Land Studio Rhyolite. Just look at that beautiful label. If you could smell it, it's even better than looking at this cool label. Next is going to be my musky fragrance of choice, which I'm not a big fan of musky fragrances, as a lot of you know if you've been watching this channel for a little while. Only certain fragrances that have a dominant musky note will work for me. It's got to be a cleaner musk, even if synthetic. It's got to be a cleaner musk. And this one is a cleaner synthetic musk that works really well with the violet leaf that's in this one. It's from Burberry. It's Burberry Touch, classified as a woody floral musk. And this is a great fragrance. I've noticed the talk about this one has been ramping up more lately. I've been talking about it since the second or third video on this channel. I do enjoy this one. I think this is a versatile gem. I know Big Beard Business loves this one. I know lately Justin has fallen in love with this one in the last month or so. There's a lot of people that didn't really give it its due. And there's a lot of people that have been knowing for years it's amazing. Some people are just late to the game. And this is one that definitely falls in. If we were to go to a violet leaf fragrance to pick one of those, this could fall into that instead of Fahrenheit, because this is that good. This is that much more versatile and works in that many more situations and seasons. This is pretty much a year-round gem that's casual and can go moderately dressed up. You can go as far as a regular suit. I wouldn't go tuxedo, but for musky fragrances, doesn't get a whole lot better than Burberry Touch. It's my favorite woody floral musk. And last but most certainly not least is going to be my pick for a tobacco fragrance. Now, some of you probably guessed this, and I debated on switching it up, but at the end of the day, I got to stay true to myself on what is my favorite tobacco fragrance. And my favorite tobacco fragrance is Mancera Red Tobacco. Undoubtedly going to win every time, if I'm being honest. I mean, I'm just saying it's great to me, you know. You don't need a lot of sprays. Hell, you can get away with one spray across your back of your neck and go on about your day, really and truly. It's that powerful. It smells amazing in this opening. The oud in this adds a little bit of skank to it in the opening, that little bit of edge mixed with the incense. It kind of gives this one its own smell. Super, super powerful. Out in the air, pulls a lot of compliments, believe it or not. And it's not the most expensive fragrance in the world, but it's not the cheapest fragrance in the world either. You can get them in that $90 to $100 range for these 4-ounce bottles. Retail is obviously much higher than that $180, $200 range, but you can find them on the Facebook groups and through the discount sites in that 90-ish range. And it's worth every single penny. It's going to last you for a very, very long time, and it is very, very strong and smells incredible. My favorite tobacco fragrance, Mancera Red Tobacco. So that's my 10 favorite fragrances from 10 different fragrance families. Obviously, it's started off as a blanket tag. It continued in the following video that I saw as a blanket tag, so I'm going to keep that going as well. Any of you that see this that would like to make your own 10, by all means, make your list, make your own 10, because I thought this was a great video idea, hence the reason I'm participating. Very cool to sit down and go through it and look at the classifications and the breakdowns and make sure, just because you think it's this thing doesn't necessarily mean it's that thing, and you want to, oh, well, this will work better in that category actually. And you can mix and match, and it's a fun little video to do, really and truly. And until next time, do me a real quick favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Do appreciate all the feedback. I love hearing from you guys. I know there's a lot of these y'all expected, but there's a few you probably didn't. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of these, give them a spray now. It's a good chance you'll thank me later. Have a good one, guys.